Hey, welcome back. And this is the second part of your carbon amyloid stains. Um, so we need to talk about your PAMS. We are going to go through steps, functions, and results, some tidbits, and I'm going to give you tricks of the trade along the way. So the PAMS tells you exactly what it is. Um, in its title. So it's the periodic acid methamphetamine silver. So we are demonstrating the glomerular basement membranes. Yeah, these will be found in kidney. So kidney is your control. Now, Carson puts this in the connective tissue chapter, yeah, which is acceptable, but the stain actually attaches to the carbohydrates on the basement membranes. So it can also be classified as a carbonamide stain, in that we've oxidized to an aldehyde via periodic acid. So, when you are going to study this in your book, you're going to find this stain in the connective tissue stains. Yeah, but we're going to learn it now and then revisit it when we hit the connective tissue stains. So our control is kidney. Yeah, because this is a silver stain, yeah, any metal will react with that silver, yeah, and give us a false positive, and sort of ruin everything. Yeah, so we can't use any dichromates, and we can't use any mercury fixatives. So this is your recipe for building your working silver solution. You need to have 25 mils of your stock methamphetamine silver and 25 mils of distilled water with 2 mils of a 5% borax. Now, previously, yeah, you have not had to memorize how to make things. Now is the time that you're going to have to start memorizing that. Yeah, in that, you uh anytime there's a working solution that has to be made from stock solutions, you have to know how to make those working solutions. Yeah, so your working mucicarmine, yeah, you need to know how to mix that. Your working Congo Red, you need to know how to mix that. Any working solutions from this point forward, you need to know how to mix it. Even your Weigerts, 50/50 A and B, you need to know how to mix it. So when you ask me, yeah, do I need to know these recipes? The answer is going to be yes. All right, so our protocol. We are going to depair and hydrate to distilled water. Yeah, again, we're running a silver stain, and just to reiterate 3 times that you absolutely have to have distilled water. Yeah, silver stains, microorganism stains, and immunohistochemistries. So you're going to depair to distilled water. Then you're going to go into periodic acid. This is your oxidizer creating that aldehyde. Then you're gonna rinse in distilled water, and this is a great holding solution, and or holding step rather. Yeah, once you start the rest of this, there is no holding until after your hypo. Okay, and these go fairly quickly. So if you've got to do something in just a few minutes, you're going to want to hold here, and come back before you even start to impregnate with your silver solution. So from your distilled water, then you're going to impregnate. Now, we can do this in a water bath, or we can do it in the microwave. The microwave is much quicker. And it uh, it impregnates quicker. The water bath is sort of the older method to do it. Yeah, and so we're gonna talk about how to impregnate in the microwave. So you're gonna take a glass dish and you are going to have a Copeland jar. And that Copeland jar will be filled with your silver solution. You're going to pull your slides and you're going to put them in that Copeland jar. Then you're going to put it in the microwave. I go at 30% to 50%, depending upon how quick you are. You might want to start slower, depends on you. So I'll go in 30 to 50% and I'll go like maybe 8 to 10 seconds. Okay. Then I pull the whole dish out, and I'll swirl my silver solution around just to sort of mix that heat. Okay. I'll take a look at my section. I'll pull up one of the slides, take a look at my section. And when it's done impregnating, it should be this beautiful, deep paper bag brown. Okay. If it's not brown, I will stick it back in the microwave. And if I've gone like 50%, the first time around, this time I'm going to go like 30%. I'm going to stick it in for maybe 5 more seconds. And I'm going to continue to do that until you sort of start to see the solution get a little bubbly and it's heating up, right? So it's going to get a little bubbly and it's just barely going to start to tinge a little bit brown. Once that happens, I'm going to pull it back out. I'm going to look at my section. If it started to turn brown, then I just pull the whole thing, set it on the counter, and watch that section deepen. So once it starts to be sort of a light browny color, it's going to get deeper and deeper and deeper as it sits. Now you can stick it back in the microwave again if you need to for, on 30% for maybe 2 or 3 seconds, right? To keep that solution heating. What you don't want to do is stick it in the microwave at 100% right off the bat. Because what you're going to wind up doing is you want to heat that solution nice and slow so that the impregnation process happens. You don't want to hit it hard and heat it really fast because then you're going to flash. And flashing means that your silver is going to react with the glass, including the Copeland jar, including the glass on your slide. And once you flash, it's game over. Okay. So you want to let it sit in this warm solution until you get this nice, deep, beautiful paper bag brown. Then you're going to pull your slides out. Now, here's the thing. You don't want to pull your slides and put them into cold water. So I will take another Copeland jar and put it in the microwave and heat my distilled water at the sort of the same time. Okay. So when I pull it out and I'm letting it sit to get to that paper bag brown color, I now have warm water. Okay. So I'm going to pull my slides out and I'm going to put them in that warm water. Yeah. Then slowly add cold distilled water to that warm water. So you're going to add a little bit of cold water, shake it around, dump a little out, add a little cold water, shake it around, dump a little out, and keep doing that until you have brought them back to room temperature. Now, you don't want to take that hot Copeland jar and immediately hit it with cold water because what's going to happen is that cold water is going to shock that glass, and that glass is just going to shatter, potentially including your slide. Okay. Then you're going to have silver everywhere, and it's just going to be a mess. So you need to gradually introduce that cool water until you have complete room temperature water in that Copeland jar. From there, you're going to lay your slides down, and uh, and that's after you've given it nice, good, room temperature water wash. And then you're going to lay those slides down, and you're going to add gold chloride to it. That gold chloride, you'll see your section sort of turn this, uh, it's going to start to clean your section, and it's going to turn it to sort of this brown, deeper brown color, sort of a gray brown color. And you'll see that reaction happen. Okay. So then you're going to pick it up real quick, and you're going to put it into distilled water. Then, and give it a couple of rinses in that distilled water. Then you're going to pull it, and you're going to put it underneath the microwave. Or underneath the microwave, I'm sorry, underneath the microscope. Yeah. Now, and you got to do it quick because you can't let this dry out. So when you look at it underneath the microscope, you should see that basement membrane black. Okay. If you don't, and it's still brown, then you need to tone a little bit longer, and it's going to, bring that silver into black. So you keep toggling back and forth until you see that basement membrane black. If it's red, you have overtoned, and it's game over. Okay. So it's better to tone a little, look at it microscopically, and then tone a little more, look at it microscopically, instead of just leaving the slide with gold on it and taking the chance to overtone it. So once you get it to where those basement membranes have come down, and they're black, yeah, then you're going to rinse it several times more in distilled water. Now be careful when you are doing this toggle back and forth. If you come out of gold and you go into distilled water, and then you put it underneath the microscope, and you don't rinse that water, then you still have gold in that water. So because you have carryover. So when you take that slide off the microscope and put it back in there, you're going to continue to tone. So you have to keep changing out this distilled water to new distilled water to make sure that you don't have carryover from your gold, and you continue to tone after you have gotten your basement membranes to the point that you want them, or even during the toggle point. Yeah, because you won't see that continuation of toning if you still have drag of gold into this distilled water. So make sure you're changing this all the time. Once you get that basement membrane to come down to black, yeah, then you're going to go into our friend hypo. Yeah, hypo is your saving grace as a histotech. It's going to clean up your stain for you. So it's going to attach to any excess silver that may be in your section. Any unbound silver that's available. Then you're going to go into a distilled water wash afterwards. And that hypo that's attached to that unbound silver is going to wash away. So this guy is a great holding spot to assure that everything has been washed away. all the excess unbound silver that's attached to the hypo is indeed washing away. Then you're going to counter stain. Again, that should be a background stain because it's light green. Background stains lay over everything. Counter stains have a target. Um, you're going to see Carson flop these back and forth on you, but that's the true definition. So you're going to hit it with a light green, just to bring out that blackness, and the green's going to stay in the background. Now, remember that your light green will pull in water and will pull in the first 95s, because they have water in them. So it's quick water wash, dippy, 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 just to get all that excess green off of there. Or if you've overdone your green and it's too dark, you can use this water wash to your advantage, sort of pull back that green color. Then you're going to dehydrate quickly because those 95s are still going to pull that light green, go into your xylenes and mount. So your basement membranes are going to be black and your background is going to be green. Now, a few tidbits. Again, your light green will be removed with your water wash and those 95% alcohols. So move quickly. If if you have unbound silver in your section, you're going to have this black pepper effect sitting over the top of your section. And that's called precipitate. Silver precipitate. So if you do have that, that means that you didn't go long enough in your hypo to attach to that precipitate and wash away. Okay. Now, if overimpregnation occurs, meaning you went too long in your silver, you're going to have precipitate over the entire slide, including just the glass itself microscopically. If you have incomplete removal of the silver with hypo, you're just going to see that precip laying on the section and the glass will be clean. But if you've over impregnated completely, you're going to have precipitate on the glass as well. And that means that you were really, really close to flashing. And that's a failed slide. Okay. Now, if your silver solution, your heated silver solution turns a metallic sheen before you have removed your slides from it, then that's going to be a failure too, because you flashed the Copeland jar, so your silver's already reacted. Even if your slide didn't flash, most likely you're going to have a really light silver because a really light impregnation because you heated that solution too quickly, and so it reacted with the glass and didn't have time to impregnate the solution. So that's why I said, heat it up nice and slow as opposed to heating it too quickly. So this is what it looks like. It should look like somebody has taken a Sharpie and drawn these beautiful dark black lines. That's what's called delineation. So you should have this beautiful delineation of your basement membranes. And then you should have your light green background, and there should be no, so these are your nuclei. They will pick up that silver, but you should have no sort of salt and pepper itty bitty stuff splotched all over the top of this. This is what's called a double glomeruli. It's always fun when you have one in your section. So there are two glomeruli that are virtually right next to each other with a little bit of connective tissue in between. And it looks really cool. Sometimes you may even run into three that are squished up next to each other, which looks really cool too. All right, so we are done with carbon amines. That's the end. Yeah, we have gone over all the carbohydrate and amyloid stain steps, functions, results. We've looked at some pictures. I've given you tricks of the trade. I've given you tidbits, which are also pretty much tricks of the trade. And so uh, study, study, study. You will need to know steps, functions, results, controls, how to make your working solutions, and tricks and tips in order to be successful in the student lab. And I hope you are successful in the student lab. Remember, you may have to run your stain several times to get it right. But every time that you have a failed stain, is how you learn to get a correct stain. If you went through the motions and got a perfect stain every single time, you wouldn't learn how to troubleshoot that special stain. And so when you get out there in industry, by going through this multiple times and potentially having, several stain slides until you get it right, that is a massive troubleshooting learning experience, so that when you go out into industry, something goes wrong with a stain, you are able to look at that and go, oh, I know what went wrong, and fix it. Okay. So happy studying, happy success in the laboratory. Remember, every failure is a learning opportunity. And I will see you soon. Bye.